My father said I was worthless and would never amount to anything, so I stopped helping his business. By Monday, 3 clients left, his accountant quit, and he was begging me back. I'd been running Dad's construction company since I was 16, not officially. On paper, he was the genius contractor who'd built half the commercial buildings in our city. In reality, I wrote every bid proposal, managed the schedules, smoothed over his mistakes with clients, and kept the books organized enough that our accountant could make sense of them. Dad would show up to job sites hungover, charm the clients with war stories, then disappear to the golf course while I dealt with permit issues and supplier conflicts. By 19, I could read blueprints better than most of his crew. By 21, I'd personally saved 3 major projects from his incompetence. The breaking point came at my college graduation party. I just earned my engineering degree while working full-time. Dad stood up to give a toast, already 3 whiskeys deep. My daughter thinks she's so smart with her fancy degree, he announced to our family and his business partners. But book learning doesn't mean anything in the real world. She'll never amount to anything without me. The room went silent. My uncle looked at his plate. Mom's jaw tightened, but she said nothing, as usual. I smiled, set down my champagne, and said, "You're absolutely right, Dad." That Monday, I didn't show up to the office. Dad called twice before noon. "Where are you?" "The Henderson proposal is due today." "I'm worthless, remember? Wouldn't want my incompetence to damage your reputation." I hung up. By Tuesday morning, the Williamson account, a $2 million renovation, left a scathing voicemail. Apparently, Dad had promised them blueprints I'd been drafting for 3 months. He couldn't find them on the shared drive because he'd never learned how to use it. I'd taught him 6 times. Wednesday, the accountant quit. She'd been begging me for years to convince Dad to stop mixing personal and business expenses. Without me as buffer, she'd had enough. She emailed me her resignation letter, apologizing that she couldn't stay. Thursday, Dad showed up at my apartment at 6 a.m. "You're being childish," he said. "This is my business." "Then run it," I replied through the door. Friday afternoon, the bank called him. Apparently, payroll hadn't been processed correctly. The crew was threatening to walk. Dad had never actually learned the system. I'd always done it. Saturday, I got a text from my uncle. "Your father's in his office crying." 3 more clients pulled out. The Reynolds project might sue for breach of contract. Please. I drove to the office Sunday evening. Dad sat alone, surrounded by papers he couldn't organize, staring at spreadsheets he couldn't read. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "For what specifically?" I asked. He looked up, confused. "For calling me worthless? For taking credit for my work? For never once acknowledging that I built this company while you played golf?" Silence. "I'll come back," I said, "under 3 conditions. My name goes on the business license as co-owner. I get 40% equity, and you enroll in AA or I walk permanently." His face went through several emotions before landing on resignation. "And one more thing," I added. "At the next board meeting, you're going to tell everyone exactly who's been running this company." He nodded, defeated. I saved the Reynolds contract that week, personally meeting with their CEO to present the plans I'd already completed. I rebuilt the client relationships Dad had damaged with his absence and arrogance. 3 months later, Dad stood before our investors and introduced me as the company's new chief operations officer. "My daughter built this business," he said, voice shaking slightly. "I was just the face. Last month, the company hit record profits. My name is on the building now, right next to his, except mine is bigger. Dad's sober now, showing up to actual meetings. He handles client relations. I run everything else. Sometimes he'll catch my eye during presentations and nod. A small acknowledgement of everything unsaid. It's not forgiveness, but it's a start."